So, I have not done enough videos lately, so I thought I would put one together while I'm doing this. I have a little computer here. I bought it used. Got it through an auction site. It is a Latitude, I think it's a 5400, I think is the model. It has a 8th generation Core i5 processor. I installed a 1 terabyte solid state NVMe drive in it. Put 32 gigs of RAM in it. There was a couple things that it was short of that I really wanted, and one of those was a full HD screen. And this one, as it came, only had it had a nice looking, but it is a 1368 by whatever resolution. It's not the full HD. It's HD, but it's just not full HD. So what I did is I just got out there on eBay, and there's people that are, parts refurbishers. They buy old systems and pull out all the parts. This is a screen that I was able to get. I think they wanted 25 for it. I offered like 20 and they took it. So this is a replacement of this existing screen, and it looks in nice condition. And so I'm going to put that into this and upgrade this from a standard HD to a full HD, and you'll be able to see sort of the difference. You're going to see the screen resolution is going to be larger, which means that all the icons will show up smaller, but we're going to have a lot more space on the screen. So really there's, I think, only two things you need. You need a little one of these. It looks like a guitar pick, has the sharp edges that will let you pop off this whole thing, which this is just a bezel, very simple to get off. There are probably other videos that show a lot more complicated ways to do this. I'm going to show you the way I know, which is super duper simple, and show you some pitfalls, things to watch out for. Do a shutdown here. I'll probably pause the video as I get everything in place and ready to go. Actually, I'll let the video keep running here and I'll just start showing. So first thing you're going to do is you need to remove this whole bezel, and that is just a snap-on bezel. Up in the upper left-hand corner, they generally are going to leave a tiny gap that you can maybe get your fingernail in. All the rest of there's a little gap right there, but that's just I didn't snap it all the way back into place. But find your little tiny gap, and then find the sharpest, skinniest edge of your, I'm not sure what this thing would be called. You may even need to just get it started with your fingernail. When this thing is in place, this is not the one I usually use. Okay, there we go. You will just slide back and forth, and you'll hear it start to pop loose, like so. Come around. Mine should be pretty easy to get off because I've done it before on this particular unit. So looks like I'm pretty much all the way around. You got to flatten it out in order to get this bottom part off because it's usually wedged up against there. So you go ahead and you make sure you're disengaged. It does have some sticky on it that's going to stick to your old screen. And be very careful not to break the bezel. And at this point, you should be able to sort of slide your finger along. Now it seems to be completely disengaged, and you may have to even flatten this out more so you can slide that out. There's your bezel. You're going to need that. I have a little magnet taped to mine right here because, believe it or not, the mechanism to make your computer go to sleep is actually very simple. It's a little magnet spot down here on the side of the keyboard. Right down here. Right here, and what happens is that the magnet on your screen, there's a little tiny magnet on the screen in the corner up here that will activate this magnetized spot in the corner and put your laptop to sleep. Well, I just thought that when I had my laptop apart, I was like, wow, look at this cool little magnet that was in there. And I went ahead and kept the magnet out because I found that if I put it on my screwdriver, it turns the screwdriver into a magnetized screwdriver. Anyways, I digress. I will actually probably put my little magnet back in place so I don't have to have that makeshift way of doing my... maybe I'll keep the magnet out. I probably will, to be honest. I like having the magnetized screwdriver. On this, you're going to see there are only 2 screws. On this particular model, there's a screw on each corner here. Some of these LCDs, you're going to have to remove these bars, these mounting bars. I bought one that I made sure was the exact model that already had the bars on it to make life a little easier. So when it comes right down to it, at this point, all I need to do is remove those two screws down here in the corner of the screen, one here and one here. And this entire screen will just lift right out. It's not a very complicated connection. Some people I've seen want you to take hair dryers to this. Others want you to remove the entire cover. Me, I'd go the simple routes. Let's use my little magnetized screwdriver here. Did I get it? No, not quite. Where are you at? I'll get to it in a minute here. Screw slip back down. I will undo this one now as well. Make sure you set these screws aside and keep them handy because they are a fairly unique size. You're not going to find this screw easily accessible elsewhere in the system. You know, I'm always the type that I sometimes will pilfer screws from other parts of the system in order to do what I need to do. And you don't want to do that with these. These are the very, very specific size. Don't lose them. I tend to just put them someplace where I'm going to be able to find them easily. I'm going to flip this over right now and see if I can get this other screw to fall out, which it did. There it is. That's one that just slipped away from me as I was pulling it out. My little magnetized screwdriver failed me there. It's a makeshift magnetized one, but like I said, now this screen should be completely able to flop forward and just rest right here. There's a single connector for this. There's a lot of connectors that go to this cover for your Wi-Fi and your cameras and stuff, but there's only one connector that goes to the screen. I'm going to compare this and make sure that my new screen, yep, it matches up perfectly. The new screen is the right one. If you get different models, some of them have connectors up here in the center of the screen, which makes it really hard to connect that if you can at all. So make sure that you get the screen that has the proper connector on it right there. And now at this point, this again is a very simple configuration. It's just some tape that's on here. And in my case, I actually had this apart at one other point because I was trying to do this screen, and I just replaced this with regular electrical tape. So you peel back your tape that's on there. Probably the Dell stuff is a little bit, it's very similar looking to this electrical tape. You just peel it, you get it very gently to disengage, and the connector is a little ribbon connector that should pop right off fairly easily. I'm going to set this tape right there so I can reuse it. I'm going to get out my magnifier so I can take a nice look at this. Yeah, I've exposed the entire connector here at this point. And I believe in this case, it goes that way. It just slides right out in that direction. Yep, it just disengages right there. And that is all you need. Let me make sure I get a good shot of this. Yeah, this little connector right here is all you need to be able to disconnect your screen. Now, as you can see, screen is completely off. I'm going to bring in my 1920 by 1080 full HD screen right here, and this little connector should slide right onto this same mounting point. I make people nervous because I tend to do everything by feel. And I think I may look really impressive to you in this video because I think I just nailed it on my first try. Usually I have to position things. Boy, I think I just got that. There's no click. There's no snap. It's just, it makes its connections. And if you do it right, you should be able to put that little piece of tape on there. And you don't need to boot all the way into your system. You just want to see if it gets power. You flip back, you hit your power button. This would shut off if it's connected incorrectly. But, yep, just like it did right there. Okay, so it is not connected right. Something's not right about this. So let's lean it forward again. And we'll take this off. I didn't think I would get it right on the very first try. Yeah, it had fallen back off here. Yeah, so get my magnifier here. That certainly helps getting a better look at it. Like I said, I like to do things by feel myself. Oops. Computer ended up finishing booting. Don't do that. Why did it do that? Okay, that should be powered off now. Okay, let's try this again. Careful about those sorts of things. You don't want your computer running while you're poking around in the electronics. Okay, I need to, it's a good thing to get the screen, instead of trying to get the connector positioned for the screen, position the screen to line up with the connector. You know, it just is sometimes easier to have that in place, even though the connector is flexible. Okay. Okay, there's one side. Doesn't want to go on the other side. Okay. And when you get it on, you can see that it covers up the little teeth that it's supposed to slide over there. Oh, and it did pop in place right there. Okay, we have a winner. I guess I was wrong. There is a click when you get it in place. Put the little piece of tape over this. You do need that little piece of tape. Flip this up. Get the power. And hopefully things go well. Oh, I'm getting a flashing on my charging light there. So maybe booting it into the Windows actually was a bad. Hold down this power button for a bit so we can get things to reset. No. Not entirely certain where our problem is here. I'm pretty sure I have this connected properly. That's on there right. Oh, there we go. We got a Dell screen. I'm going to shut it off before it gets any further. Okay. What I was seeing there was there's a charging light on the front here, and that was flashing rapidly. I think it didn't like being booted with no screen attached. I'm going to go ahead and bring our power back on. We will power up one more time. All right, I'm getting that light is on constant now. Oh, nope, it just shut off, but that just may be simply saying that the battery's fully charged. So I'm going to once again just hit the power button. We get a light on the power button. That's good. And we'll probably see the Dell screen. Once you see the Dell screen, everything's happy. It's getting power. It's making a good connection. It's not like when you go to the full HD, it changes so substantially. But you know something, let's go ahead. Since we're here, let's go ahead and boot into that. Let's take a look. And this will go into my Linux Mate. Yep, I can tell right there that the screen is already at a higher resolution. Yeah, and if you were watching the video earlier, you saw that my dock was considerably larger. This is at full HD now. So, and I can just tell the screen looks better too. It doesn't look as washed out as the old version did. So I'm just going to shut down and we will put these screws back in place. I guess now is when I need to make the decision as to whether I want to put that little golly, the screen looks so much better with it in full HD. It really does. Okay, so we are shut down. It is ready to be screwed back into place. If you noticed, I didn't pause this video anywhere, and here we are, like almost completely done with this replacement. So this is an upgrade that's worth doing. Again, I had a laptop here that I bought in an auction, and I'm not going to tell you. Well, I will tell you the price. I just don't. I won't tell you where I got it because I like getting my computers for. I think this one, to be honest, I spent a lot more than I usually do because I really liked the processor on it. I think it cost me $102 for this system. That was without the hard drive or the RAM. It was a bare bones system, and now I'm also replacing this screen. The memory and hard drive, you can pick those up on Amazon for under, the configuration's a 1 terabyte and a in the what is it? The 1 terabyte drive and the 32 gigabytes of RAM I put in here were each well under $50. So that's got me to where with the HD screen for $20, I'm up around $200 for this laptop, and it is a workhorse. I call it Yoda. This laptop is Yoda because it's kind of small and it's a little bit beat up, but it is really powerful. I'm going to take a real close look with my magnifying glass here. Okay, I think I see where the magnet goes. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm going to drop that in here so that the lid works properly. Just drop my magnet back in right there. I'm going to screw things down, and now I don't have to have the little magnetic piece on the bezel. I'll show you how that worked, and actually I'll show you what I did there so that if you have a laptop that's not going to sleep, it may have something to do with that. Now there's two holes that this screen has. One of them is a guide hole for this to sit in place, and the other is the screw hole. In my case, the screw hole is the one that's closer to the inside of the laptop, I do believe. And these are tricky to put in. Gosh, you know something? I'm going to steal my magnet back out of there because it's a lot easier to do this. It's a lot easier to do this with a magnetized screwdriver. So I'm going to get these screwed down, and then, because see, now I have it magnetized and I can come right in here like a surgeon. Hopefully find that spot where it screws in. There it goes. Screw, screw, screw. And it's all the way down in there. So there's one. And I just love how this laptop only requires 2 screws to remove the screen. That is very handy. And you get to see how weak my eyes are. I really got to get down there. Oh, this is not screwing in right. When you hear it go pop, pop, something isn't lined up. It's cross-threading or it's in the wrong hole. There we go. Okay, I think I got it now. My screwdriver slipped off. Again, you get to see just how close I got to get down here. I envy all you people with perfect eyesight. Oh, come on, baby. It's got one little thread going there, and it's at a weird angle. I'm going to move this magnet up a little bit. Come on, little screw. Never ever try to force screws. They should, there we go. They should flow easily for you. A little trick, and probably most people who have worked in any kind of an engineering environment, when you're trying to get something to thread right, turn it the wrong direction first. And you'll hear it kind of make a popping noise. And this thing is still stuck kind of at a weird angle in there. There it is. I'm going to need to turn this over unless this magnet will get that out of there for me. Yeah, it did. Okay. Let's try this again. Slide this screen back and forth a tiny bit. Let's check our holes. Looks like it could come up just a hair. Okay. And let's come in here again. It's the screw hole that's closer to the center of the laptop. It looks like that may not be perfectly lined up. That should be okay though. Go back and forth a little bit here. I think I'm threading okay now. Yep. Tighten it down to hand tightness. Doesn't need to be, you don't ever want to, I've known people on computers who are like, oh no, you got to get everything really tight. And it's like, no, computers don't work that way. You want to have it snug, you want to have it secure, but tight is not a requirement on anything you're doing on a computer. Secure, firm, tight is not necessary. Okay, so this little magnet just has a square up here that it drops right into. Wait a second, is that the spot? I may have it in the wrong spot. Yeah, that's the right spot. Yeah, I had it at the wrong orientation. Okay, there it is. I don't like that it's sliding back and forth in there though. Well, yeah, I may not worry about this because my little makeshift method of, it looks like there's some adhesive in there that maybe this was stuck to that's no longer sticking. You know, I think I'm just going to leave the little magnet out. What you can do is what I did. I just, as I said earlier, I went and found a refrigerator magnet and just taped a tiny piece of it right there. Just used some two-sided tape, stuck it right there, and it does its shutdown now. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I am more about functionality than about pretty. Speaking of pretty, let's make sure that our screen comes on again. Yep, we're screwed in place. After this, all I need to do is put the bezel back on and we will be in business with a full HD 1920 by 1080 screen. Something that's concerning me here is I have more selections on my boot right here than I did before. I'll have to figure out why the bootloader added some selections and what those are. Possibly, you know something, they are probably related to, I upgraded my Linux to the 2022 version from the 2020 version. I like the 2020.04 of Ubuntu, but I went ahead and did the release update in the past few days, and Went to the 2022-04. I only use LTSs myself, long-term support. Not that I expect support, but I know that the drivers are going to remain and software repositories are going to remain available. Now, when I'm putting these on, it always seems to not want to line up with the bottom portion of this. And it's like pushed over the top a little bit. I just started at one of the top corners and I put it in place, and you'll see that this is kind of bowed up. Just don't, force anything, but kind of wiggle this around, and you may have to come up and down. You may have to raise it up, and then there it goes. Okay, yeah, by bringing it up just a hair, you'll find your angle where things get happy, and it just sort of now popped all down into place. Now you do have to make sure each and every little spot is popped in place, so you have to kind of go around, and this last portion down here at the bottom is probably toughest to get to because it keeps wanting to pop off. Maybe best to start in the middle and work your way out. And it may take a little while for you to snap it all into place. Make sure, yeah, see, okay, I think everything just finally popped in. Seems like it's not happy in the middle here. Oh, there we go. And you'll have to kind of bring this closed and open and closed and open, and gradually there's a spot that it does not want to meld with right here on the hinge. Maybe that did it. You kind of rock it back and forth, see if you get any pressure points. Anyways, oh, there it goes. I had a corner that was popped out. I think that was where my issue was. Still sounds like it's popping a little bit. You may have to take your bezel off and pop it back on once or twice. I think mine is in good place here. Sometimes it takes two hands. I'm being a little bit overly picky right now, but yeah, okay, this thing was 11:15 when I started this, and here we are at 11:30. I just heard my clock go, and we've replaced the screen. So this is not a tough job. You just kind of have to be very gentle. And for $20, you can take your laptop. Now make sure you get the right screen, because not all 14-inch screens, even on Dells, are the same. Make sure you get the one that's designed for your particular model. And when you do that, it really gives you a much prettier, brighter, cleaner looking screen. Much better usage of desktop space. I really felt like things, especially if I fired up a virtual machine, I felt like I was really just in a very cramped space. Now, if I launch into, something like, let's say, I'm just going to use Linux Mint here, you'll see that I just now have, see this screen, that used to take up my entire screen. This right here used to actually take up the entire, and now that I have this was actually out to the edges of the previous screen. So you can see how much more space I gained by going to a full HD screen. And yeah, it's a totally different world. So hopefully this helps. It gives you an idea here of, yeah, this all looks so much better, so pretty. And that's a $20 upgrade going from the old screen to the new one. And now I actually have this lower resolution screen that I'm going to be able to use on a different laptop with a cracked screen. So yeah, I'm big on recycling. So there you go. Hopefully this helps y'all. Have a great day. Please tune in for more.